Alright, y'all, gather around. We're gonna see if the 1660 is the brand new king of the budget GPU landscape, or is the RX 580 still the champion taking on all contenders? We're gonna get into this one. Let's go. What's good with it, folks? It's your Kinfo Dookie, back again with bang, budget and new gear reviews that help you get the best bang for your tech dollars. Now, I recently completed this build right here that you can see over my shoulder. Now, if you watching this within the first 2 weeks of the video that went live just a few days ago, you can still go to it, leave a comment with a name suggestion. If I use the name that you suggested, I will ship you a pair of Mixiter E9 active noise canceling Bluetooth headphones. So make sure you go check the link if it's here, or I'm gonna put it down in the description as well when you're done watching this video, of course. Now, the star of that build was the GTX 1660. You can get this right now for about $220 depending on which model you got. Make sure you check the links down below for accurate pricing as well. For real. But when I was doing that, I was thinking, at $200, is this the card to go for, or can you get better value with the RX 580? Now, to be transparent, in the end, when I'm talking about value, I will be using it in two different scenarios. One, buying both of these cards brand new, and two, trying to get a deal on the used market. Now, if you just want to see the raw benchmark numbers, then make sure you follow this timestamp over here so you can go directly to it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into the first thing I want to talk about, and I won't spend a lot of time on it, the aesthetics of these cards. Now, the reason I want to start here is because there's not much to say, and honestly, unless you're mounting your card vertically in your system, you're probably not going to see much of it. But there are a few things that I wanted to touch on with both of these cards that I do and don't like. First up, on the GTX 1660, I really like the color scheme way that they have here. I love the color and the design here on the fan as well. Now, I don't understand why it's such a short card with a 3-slot design, especially when they're only using 1 slot for the I/O. I'm guessing it has something to do with these massive fins over here for cooling. I don't know. Now, comparing that to the RX 580, you can see right here that the version I picked up from Gigabyte does have this orange on here that I wish they kind of would have went with, maybe using gray or white. One thing that I do love about this card, that if you do have LED lights in your system, you do have RGB here on the side that you can tune with the software to match the other colors in your system. Overall, I'm not too mad at this one at all, but I do prefer the GTX 1660 just a little bit. Now, up next is something that is really important, and I sometimes forget to go over it or kind of skim over it in my GPU reviews, and that is temperatures and fan noise. Obviously, you want to have good temperatures for the longevity of your components so that they stay healthy and you're not wearing them down, overheating, and things like that. Now, I've done a few videos on this specific RX 580. I had some issues with temperatures and fan noise. Not so much that this would get really hot, but that the fans would just ramp up. I could just hear it over there spinning loudly under load, and it just sounded like. Now, for the most part, it didn't bother me much, but I have had some people leave comments saying they couldn't stand it, they had to take it back, go get another version. I don't know if it's specific to the Gigabyte Aorus model, but I've heard some of the other models do it as well with this 580. So what I did is I took a suggestion from Brian over at Tech Yes City and gave it a little Tech Yes loving. That's where you open it up and change the thermal paste. Now, overall, it was a pretty simple process. You just take a few screws off the back, separate the shroud from the PCB. Once you get that separated, you disconnect the cables and you're good to go. Now, what I did was take some alcohol pads, went in there and removed the old thermal paste. Then I used some of this. This is MX2 thermal compound. Shout out to the good folks over at Arctic. They sent me a couple of these. I've been using them in all my builds. Put a little bit on there and it was good to go. Reattached everything. Honestly, it was pretty simple. It took less than 10 minutes, and 5 minutes of that was me just being extra careful because I never did it before. But all that aside, like I said, it did perform better. But let's check out the Temps head-to-head and see who won. To get started, I tested both cards at about the same time in the middle of a warm Texas day. I let the Heaven benchmark run for about 30 minutes and checked the temps and HW monitor. The 1660 maxed out at 70C, but hovered around 67 on average. Compare that to the 580, which after some refurb loving maxed out at about 72C. Both cars were pretty quiet under load, especially the 580 after a little work. Let's take it to the sound test. Alright y'all, I've been giving you all the preliminary information, beating around the bush, but let's see who wins head to head. Let's take it to the benchmark scores and see who comes out on top. Starting with the synthetics, we might see a few anomalies, but it all pretty much follows the script. Kicking it off with Heaven, the 1660 comes out almost 20 FPS better, but what's going on with that minimum score? Using the Cinebench OpenGL test, the RX 580 gets its first win of the day and gives us the illusion of a back and forth battle. Jumping to the 3D graphics passmark test, we see the 1660 getting its swagger back and trying to regain its position. In Time Spy, the Nvidia card scores an even 900 points better and dominates in the FPS numbers. As we switch to games, I tested everything at 1080p and I'll put the settings used for each game on the screen. In Far Cry 5, the RX 580 comes in just short of the 1660, even though it had a higher minimum. The trend continues in the Assassin's Creed Odyssey built-in benchmark, with the 1660 getting the slight victory. Forza Horizon 4 shows the gap starting to widen between the two as the Nvidia card averages 99 frames per second on the high preset. Taking it over to more demanding titles such as Battlefield 5, we see the 1660 just stomping on the competition and beating the 580 by almost 15 FPS on average. To wrap it up with Anthem on the high preset, both cards can use some settings tweakings, but the 1660 was able to steadily hit that magical 60 FPS limit with ease. Now, I didn't test any esports titles, but I can assure you that both cards can max out games like CSGO, Fortnite, Rocket League, and even Apex Legends without breaking a sweat. Alright y'all saw the scores and you've seen who came out on top. Though it wasn't a blowout, you gotta give props to the GTX 1660 for just doing this thing, getting the decision in the end. But I'm gonna put the price of the GTX 1660 brand new up here, and I'm gonna put the price of the RX 580 brand new up here. Now, the reason I have those prices showcased is because I think you have to look at value in two different ways. Now, there are some channels that's gonna give you a scientific breakdown of value per dollar, and salute to them. I'm not gonna do all of that. I'm gonna just talk to y'all like grown folks. If you're looking for the best card that you can get in this price range and get the most performance, hands down, pick the GTX 1660. Now, this is one of the cheaper versions of the GTX 1660. Honestly, if you spend too much more than that, you start adding on more for overclocked cards that you can overclock yourself, then you start getting into the range of the 1660 Ti and then the 2060, etc. You know, I say go for the cheapest version of the card that you can get, because you're gonna still get great performance right out of the box. It's not gonna be any question. But that's just for you folks who have to buy everything brand new, you know, warranties, you don't trust the used market. Everything I'm about to say now is probably not for you. But for my folks that do like to look for deals, that don't have a problem searching the used market to find either something refurbished or in their local area, there's a lot of different places and apps you can get, even on eBay. I spent about 5 minutes right before I started this video looking at prices for the RX 580 and getting that used. Oh my God, that is where I think the true value is in this price range. Now, it kind of takes it out of that price range because you could pick up used RX 580s for about $110 to $130 typically. And if you really do your research, if you really about those deals, you can even find them for under $100. I think it. Now, like I said, this is just for people who don't mind the used market, who understand the risk with buying from the used market. But with GPUs, I really haven't faced too much of you just buying a card that doesn't work. Not to say it doesn't happen, but for me, I really do like the used market when it comes to GPUs. You got some people who just like to have the brand newest thing, so they'll let go of something that's not even that old because something else new came out. So that's just something I think you should consider. All right, folks, I'm gonna get up out of here. I've been kind of rambling on and on. What I need you to do is let me know down below which one of these cards would you pick up if you were in this price range and looking for a brand new card. Also, for all my gamers out there who already have systems, what GPU do you have in your current system, and are you looking to upgrade? Let me know. Also, I need some suggestions for future builds. Should I do a video editor build, which has been suggested? Should I do another music production build? That got a lot of love, man. Shout out to the Militron. Or should I do another PC gaming build at a different budget? It's up to you guys. I'm gonna see you down below in the comments. It's your kinfolk Dookie. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And never forget to holla at your boy.